Thinking of moving to Mexico? Watch this first. To avoid the biggest mistakes Americans make, Mexico has become one of the top destinations for digital nomads and expats thanks to its close proximity to the US and vibrant lifestyle. Let's take a look at what it really takes to live there long term. We're listing down the biggest mistakes Americans make in Mexico, the real cost of living, the visa rules you can't afford to ignore, and the best cities for remote workers, featured in Budget Traveler, Wanderlust, and Coastal Living. Watch until the very end where we reveal the smartest long-term relocation strategy most people completely miss. One bad location choice in Mexico can quietly drain your savings faster than you expect. I remember talking to a couple who moved to Tulum after falling in love with it on Instagram. Crystal waters, jungle vibes, digital nomad dream. But within months, reality hit. Rent was sky high, power outages were common, and basic errands became daily frustrations. Meanwhile, another expat I met in Mexico City was thriving, but only after escaping a trendy, overpriced neighborhood that nearly wrecked his budget. This is the trap. People follow social media hype instead of real lifestyle fit. Tulum looks perfect online, but it's often overpriced with infrastructure issues. Mexico City is incredible. World-class food, culture, and energy. But it can get expensive fast if you choose the wrong area. Playa del Carmen feels easy at first, but many get stuck in an expat bubble. Then there's Mérida, quieter, safer, and far more affordable, especially for long-term living. Where you live in Mexico will determine if you save money or burn through it. Stick around, we're just getting started. There are 6 more mistakes that need discussing. Paying the wrong rent in Mexico can quietly double your cost of living overnight. I met a remote worker who arrived in Playa del Carmen thinking he scored a great deal. $2,000 a month for a stylish Airbnb near the beach. It felt worth it at first. Fast Wi-Fi, modern furniture, easy booking. But a few months in, he started talking to locals and long-term expats and realized he was paying more than double the going rate. This is the Airbnb trap. It's convenient, flexible, and designed for short stays. But many foreigners never leave it. Add in foreigner pricing, where landlords or platforms charge more simply because they can, and your budget disappears fast. The reality? That same apartment could often be rented for around $800 on a local lease if you take the time to look, negotiate, and commit longer term. Mexico is cheap, but only if you don't pay tourist prices. Keep watching, because the reality about the Mexican visa is coming up next. Your entire life in Mexico can fall apart at the border in a matter of minutes. I met an American freelancer who thought he had it all figured out. Stay 180 days, do a quick border run, then come right back. It worked, until it didn't. On his third return, the officer only gave him 30 days, no explanation. Suddenly, his lease, routine, and income setup were all at risk. Here's the mistake: assuming the 180-day tourist visa is guaranteed. It's not. Immigration officers decide how long you can stay, and rules have tightened. Border runs, once a common workaround, are now risky and unpredictable. Many Americans are getting less than 180 days, and some are denied re-entry. The smarter move? Plan for stability. The temporary resident visa gives you legal long-term status, fewer headaches, and peace of mind while living in Mexico. Make sure to watch all the way through. You won't believe what we found about Mexican safety and cost of living. Assuming all of Mexico is equally safe is one mistake that can cost you more than just money. I once met a traveler who arrived full of confidence, convinced the safety concerns were overblown. For weeks, everything felt perfect, until one careless night in the wrong neighborhood turned into a stressful, avoidable situation. Nothing extreme, but enough to shake his sense of security and force him to rethink everything. Here's the nuance most people miss. Mexico isn't one uniform experience. There are incredibly safe areas where people live comfortably for years, gated communities, well-patrolled neighborhoods, and cities known for low crime. But step outside those zones without awareness, and the risks can change quickly. The truth is simple. Safe areas exist, but not all areas are equal. Mexico isn't dangerous, but it's not forgiving if you're careless. Do your research, ask locals, and choose your neighborhood wisely, because where you feel relaxed matters just as much as where you save money. Thinking Mexico will automatically cut your expenses in half is where many people go wrong. I remember a remote worker who moved in expecting to live comfortably on a tight budget, only to realize a few months in that his spending looked almost identical to what he had back in the US. The difference? Lifestyle choices he didn't think twice about. Here's the real breakdown. Rent can range anywhere from $600 to $1,500, depending on the city and neighborhood. Food might cost $300 to $600, especially if you mix local spots with imported groceries and dining out. But the biggest variable is lifestyle. Co-working spaces, nightlife, travel, and convenience services add up fast. That's where expectations collide with reality. Mexico can be cheap, or just as expensive as the US, depending on your lifestyle. If you live like a local, you can save significantly. But if you chase comfort, convenience, and a Western routine, your budget may not stretch nearly as far as you expected. You'll want to see what happens if you stay in the expat bubble in Mexico. Trust me, you can live in Mexico for years and still never truly experience Mexico. I met an expat who had been in Playa del Carmen for over a year, yet his daily life looked almost identical to what he left behind. English-speaking friends, foreign-owned cafes, and routines built entirely around other expats. It felt comfortable, familiar, but something was missing. This is the expat bubble. When you only stick to English-speaking spaces, you unintentionally cut yourself off from local prices, authentic food, and real cultural experiences. Menus are marked up, services cost more, and interactions stay surface level. The result? Higher costs and a surprisingly shallow experience, despite living in a completely different country. The moment you start learning basic Spanish, exploring local neighborhoods, and connecting with residents, everything shifts. Prices drop, experiences deepen, and Mexico starts to feel real. Because the goal isn't just to live in Mexico, it's to actually experience it. Running out of money in a foreign country is a situation you never want to learn the hard way. I once spoke to a freelancer who moved to Mexico with just enough savings to figure things out. For the first couple of months, everything felt affordable and exciting until real life kicked in. A minor health issue turned into unexpected healthcare costs. A sudden family situation required last-minute travel. Then came visa complications that forced him to make unplanned trips. Within weeks, his budget collapsed. This is what most people underestimate: the unexpected. Healthcare, travel, and visa issues can show up without warning, and they're rarely cheap when you're unprepared. Without a financial buffer, even small problems can spiral into major setbacks. And without an exit plan, you're left making stressful decisions under pressure. The biggest mistake isn't moving, it's moving without a plan. Give yourself breathing room with savings, backup options, and a clear way out so you stay in control no matter what happens. What we reveal as the real truth about Mexico might just surprise you. Here's the truth about Mexico. It's not the cheap paradise everyone dreams about, but it's still one of the best countries for Americans, if you do it right. I've seen so many newcomers chase Instagram perfect beaches or trendy hotspots, only to burn through their savings and feel frustrated. The people who fail in Mexico chase the lifestyle. The people who succeed build a system. The winning strategy is simple but intentional. Mexico works best if you earn $3,000 plus a month remotely. Avoid hype cities or learn to live like a local. Secure a temporary resident visa early and commit to learning basic Spanish. If your goal is to save money and live better, start in Mérida, Oaxaca, or smaller cities. Rent locally instead of long-term Airbnb and live 20 to 30% below your budget. With this approach, you can realistically save $1,000 to $2,000 per month while enjoying a higher quality of life than in the US. Do it the right way. And Mexico isn't just a dream, it becomes your smartest move yet. Check out the links in the description to make sure you set yourself up for success.